Organized crime is a wide-reaching phenomenon that can have a serious effect on every aspect of life. Hi, I'm Rebecca Brayton and welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're speaking with criminologist Stephen Schneider to learn more about this type of crime as well as how it has evolved. Now, you're a criminologist. What does that entail exactly?
Well, criminology is obviously a study of crime. Our particular focus is on trying to identify the root causes of crime. So what is it that causes crime in society?
So what can we place under the label of organized crime?
One thing we've seen in the last 30 years or so is a real proliferation of what constitutes organized criminal activities. They have their hands in everything. Of course, drug trafficking, gambling, fraud, extortion, telemarketing fraud, currency counterfeiting. They're heavily involved in product counterfeiting, counterfeiting of DVDs and video games. Organized crime is incredibly opportunistic, and so they will do anything to make a dollar.
And does that include gangs as well?
From a conceptual point of view, there's always been a differentiation between street gangs, youth gangs, and organized crime. That line is becoming increasingly blurred because there are some, say, street gangs that are quite sophisticated and are involved in drug trafficking, prostitution, and the fact now is that major criminal groups now use youth gangs as a means to commit crimes. They take advantage of more lenient sentencing for young offenders. Without a doubt, organized crime and gangs now are intricately intertwined.
And how would you say that organized crime has evolved?
Where it's changed is that it's become more sophisticated, more powerful, certainly more money. They take advantage of all the technology of today, the internet, globalization, transportation. So in some cases, it's the more things change, the more they stay the same. And in some cases, there has been significant changes.
What countries are successful in fighting organized crime?
Very few. Countries that have had some success in fighting crime in general are the Scandinavian countries. They identify risk factors among youth and then they go in with targeted programs to address those risk factors. Any country that puts money into programs and policies that address the root causes of crime, so poverty, alienation, poor education systems, lack of opportunities for youth, those ones are countries that generally are a little more successful.
How does Canada's organized crime scene compare to others around the world?
We are a major player in global organized crime. The United Nations just recently came out with a report that said we're now a major producer and exporter of ecstasy and crystal meth. We're also a major exporter of high-potency marijuana. We're an epicenter globally for credit card fraud, product piracy, telemarketing fraud, currency counterfeiting. The Hells Angels have a high concentration in this country, so do Chinese triads and other Chinese criminal groups. The Montreal Mafia was the most powerful mafia group for the last 10 years.
Now, you mentioned the Hells Angels. Can you tell us more about them?
The Hells Angels began in California back in the late 40s, and they basically started as sort of a very nomadic type of group of individuals who wanted to recreate the excitement of war. It was in the 60s when they started realizing that they could make a lot of money selling drugs to the hippies and providing muscle at rock concerts. It was Sonny Barger, who was an ex-Marine, who sort of became the de facto head of the Hells Angels and really applied organizational principles to it and turned it into a criminal organization. They're a bit of a decline now because there's been a lot of enforcement, but they're exceptionally resilient and they'll be around for a while.